Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Are You a Pet Medium? Learn how to recognize, validate, and interpret intuitive signs from your beloved pet on the other side. My name is Stephen Dunham. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and we've been on a delightful exploration of deeper dimensions of how we connect with animals, both in their embodied form and now in their discarnate form. And what's really clear is that just as humans can communicate from the other side, so can animals. And we're going to get to explore how to make that bridge of communication more available to you with one of the pioneers in the field. Her name is Danielle MacKinnon. She's an animal communicator, intuitive coach, and teacher. And I think we're going to be in for a real treat today. So Danielle, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Well, we're going to dive in. And I also wanted to let everybody know right up front that we are going to have a brand new course with Danielle called Pet Mediumship that we'll talk about towards the end of the hour. So more to come if you want to learn how to do this in a deeper way. So Danielle, let's begin our hour together with a little bit about your journey into pet mediumship. How did you open that portal, and why did you decide that it was an important thing to devote your life to?
Yeah, I definitely have devoted my life to it. I did not intend to devote my life to doing this. I intended to be a writer and a veterinarian because I wanted to help people and I liked writing. And back when I was a little girl, there was no internet, there was no, things weren't widely available like they are now. So I didn't know that animal communicator was a thing. As a child, I was very sensitive. I thought that was a problem. My family thought that was a problem. So I wasn't allowed to do some things because I would get so emotional. I wasn't allowed to go to a certain area of the mall because the pet store was there. And I would say, I know those pets are not okay. I know, and I would start
Hmm.
crying. So my mom started saying, you're not allowed to go down that there. The pet store is down there. As I continued growing, my sensitivity grew as well. And it was just emotional sensitivity. I could walk in a room and I'd be like, oh, it doesn't feel good in here. So I thought that this was a bad thing. And I thought that I was very different and I felt like I never fit in. Later, when I was in college, I started kind of investigating some mindfulness courses, meditation courses, because I was so anxious all the time. And I didn't understand why. But I didn't get that into it for a bit until my dog got sick. And this was back 20 something years ago. And she was at the vet for 4 days. And nobody could figure out what was going on. She was a puppy. She was sick. She was throwing up. She wasn't okay. And her normal, like, happy demeanor, well, she was just completely different. We gave her all the tests, and still the vet kept saying, I don't know what it is. A friend said, why don't you take her to the pet psychic that is in town? And there was literally a pet psychic that was in my town that weekend. He was doing an event at like a holistic fair. So I took my dog and my husband and we went to the fair and I pulled the guy out of the event to the parking lot to go and please talk with my dog to see what's up. I desperately wanted it to be real, that he could help my dog and that this was a real thing. Because if this was a real thing, a lot of the thoughts I'd been having all along might mean I'm not crazy, I'm not overly
Hmm.
sensitive.
Hmm.
So he was able to connect with my dog, and he shared that my dog had eaten corn cobs and gotten really sick, and that she'd eaten the corn cobs because my husband and I had been fighting about my mother. Now, we'd been fighting about my mother in law. Either way, it didn't matter. Who would ever know that?
That
So
is, that's
that,
very precise.
right, right. So from that moment on, I don't remember what else he said in the reading. It kind of like that was an earthquake moment for me.
Hmm.
And my dog did get better. She passed the corn cobs, which was great. And he was teaching a class like the next week because he didn't live in town. So I took his class. And in his class, it was working out. I was going, oh, this is working. I can do this. This is real. And it kind of opened my eyes to a whole new way of being. And I felt so much more passionate about that than I did about finishing my MBA. I had 4 classes left, and I was kind of like, I don't know. So I stayed at my corporate job and didn't finish school and decided to open up an animal communication business. I mean, pretty fast. I took the class and I was like, this is it. This is my thing. This is what I want. Took me a few years to actually get to the point where I left the corporate job and really went full time in it. But I found my passion. And I started working with these animals who were telling me, hey, I don't like my food, or I want more walks, or the kitty litter box needs to be changed more. And that was all pretty awesome. But the animals started telling me more. They started telling me about their humans. They started telling me what their humans needed in their lives. And then I started getting a lot of readings where their animal was about to pass, or their animal had passed. And this was incredible to me because talk about lighting my heart up. It was the most incredible thing to connect with an animal that was about to pass who could say to their human, hey, here's exactly what I want. Or an animal who'd crossed over who could say, wow, I saw them when they built that art altar, or I want them to know how proud of them I am because they got that new job. Like the animals on the other side had so much to say, and people were discounting it. They were thinking their animal had passed, it was over, and they're just in this grief. So that's kind of what brought me to really opening my heart to working with animals that had crossed over or were about to cross over.
What's an amazing journey you went on, and really deep validation for your sensitivity as a youth that you were just simply gifted, and that you were able to do this more naturally. I I'm curious a little bit about sort of the evolution of the voice of animal that comes through between their incarnate side and the discarnate side. Is it sort of like humans where it's still they evolve in certain ways, but they're kind of still have their signature style?
Oh, it's a good question. So when animals are alive, primarily in the beginning of a communication, they're going to talk about, I want different food or something about their physical life. They want something to change, or they want more of something, or how much they love their human. They can also talk about deeper stuff like what they're teaching their human
Hmm.
when they're alive. But then when they cross over, so much of what they want to talk about is that bigger, deeper stuff. They want to talk about, hey, human, I see you doing this. What about that? Or, hey, human, you didn't do wrong here. Let me point it out to you. Let me help you understand. So it's not necessarily that the voice changes, but the content changes a little. Like they want to talk about the big picture. They want to help us grow and evolve. They're still aware. Like they know you went and made dinner and you had asparagus that night and you dropped those ones on the floor. And like they totally know that and they can share about that. But they'll do that to validate, hey, I'm here and I'm around and I see what you're doing. And then they want to get to these cooler messages about helping their humans who are still alive.
Hmm. Have you found that I'd be love some reflection just around this notion of like soul contracts, that there's sort of like a deeper design for why animals incarnate with their humans, and sort of that comes more to the foreground in these after death communications?
Yeah, that's like my whole thing. That's my heart. So after when an animal is alive, my belief from having talked to the animals that they come into our lives to help us grow and evolve. And when I first started doing this work 20 however many years ago, what I found was the animals were like, cool, I've passed on and now I'm kind of hanging out and sending hello and I love you messages. But as mass consciousness is evolving. And as more and more people are open, what I'm seeing is that the animals are wanting to continue those soul level lessons, those soul contracts with their humans from the other side. So now the majority of the animals that I'm connecting with that have passed over are really, really focused on taking whatever lesson, whatever thing they were helping their human learn, taking it with them to the next level, the bigger level, the deeper level, the what I call the soul level.
Hmm. So it sounds like part of the motivation then in contacting the pets is really it's more about our soul purpose in some ways than just kind of resolving residual emotions, or at least the higher purpose maybe.
I'd say the higher purpose, because most people who are missing their pet on the other side, they want to connect because they want to relieve that grief. And then they get in there and they start learning how to do this, and it opens them up in a way because they didn't realize, wait a minute, not only is my pet here and connecting with me and sharing with me and watching over me, my pet is also guiding me and helping me grow and evolve in a way that I didn't even realize. So it's like that grief and that missing and that interest of what are they doing? What's happening over there? Are they okay over there? Actually opens people up to their intuition, to their bigger purpose, to learning, growing, and evolving with the help of their animal on the other side.
Hmm. Do you find that is there much difference with learning to communicate with an animal spirit that while they're here versus the other side, or is it basically a similar process?
I would say it's a similar process with some steps, extra steps on one, and extra. There's a few different steps on each. Um, but I would also say that the way the animals are driving the people that they're connecting with is different when you're working with an animal that's alive versus when you're working with an animal that's in the crossing over process versus when you're working with an animal that has crossed over. It's the animals who are behaving differently, talking differently, focusing differently, and asking differently of you if you're the one receiving the information. So you have to be able to like hold yourself in a certain way for each of those stages, because the animals are going to tap into you differently.
Interesting. Well, let's shift gears a little bit and focus a little bit on when you know, what are the signals that your deceased pet might want to create this bridge of connection, or is it just more sourced from the human side?
What are the signals that a deceased? Well, first of all, they always want to. So every animal on the other side would love for you to be able to receive their messages. Every animal on the other side is sending messages, sending signs. And I think one of the big misconceptions is that in the beginning, a lot of people think the messages are, I love you, I forgive you, I'm okay. And yeah, those messages are there, but those are like, I know that this is going to sound crazy, but those are like almost like superficial messages compared to the messages they want to get through. Like those are, hey, I'm supporting you so you can get through your grieving process type messages. But wow, as you open up to the bigger, deeper messages from the animals on the other side, they want to take you further. So if you can kind of accept that no matter what, your pet on the other side wants to get through to you. And you don't have to look for the signs that they want to get through to you, more that how are they getting through? It's because there's a difference, right? Do they want to? Yes. How are they doing this? And the way they're doing it, they do it in lots of different ways. And it depends on how open you are. So there are some people who get the smallest little message. I saw this smudge on the windshield of my car and I knew it was from my pet, right? They don't need a huge amount. I saw, yes, I saw it looked like their paw print. I know it, it's them. And so they don't need to go through this, like, could it be, is it, I don't know. And then there are some people who the animal's name could appear 3 times and it's a unique name, like on the radio that day. And they're still going, I don't think that my pet's trying to communicate with me from the other side. So the animals will give you messages according to how open you are. Meaning, if you're the person who saw the little smudge and knew, wow, that's my dog's paw print, and how cool is this? And I'm so excited. When you accept that, you're not in this like, is it? I don't know. Should I trust it? Give me a bigger sign. You start getting more and more and more and more signs. But when you're like, I need it skywritten, and I need to be hit over the head. Like when you're in that place, it's harder for the animals to get all these kind of like signs that they're trying to communicate through, because you're demanding either it be bigger, or another one would be you're demanding that it has to be only a certain sign. And a lot of people will do that, and it kind of gets in the way.
So I guess the next question I want to ask you is a little bit about some of the barriers that often come up to this communication opening up, and some of the blocks people might have, and how do you navigate those?
Yeah, I led you right there. One of the barriers is needing the message to be a certain message, which I was just talking about. So it's saying to your pet, when you die, I want you to send me a blue feather, and then I will know it's you. And then you spend all day looking for a blue feather, and you're ignoring all of the, white feathers that are showing up. So when we get very attached, we can have a real challenge receiving messages. Another challenge would be when you're deeply in the grieving process and you've added in other human emotions like I should have done this, I should have done that, or like being angry at the vet. That's another one. Those additional emotions actually kind of stop things up. Part of the reason is because they're emotions that you have to actually work your way through. And until you've worked your way through them, your energy is pretty taken up with, I'm so angry at my vet. I'm so angry at my vet. And so if your energy is going like this, you're not as free to be able to receive the information. So that's that's a big one that can get in the way, but there are definitely ways to work your way through that without having to totally forgive the vet in this moment. The other one would be, and this is a fun one, and I talk about it all the time, being too attached. If you are really attached, and this is what I teach in my courses as well, because I attract people who really want to connect with animals. They want to connect with their past pet. They want to connect with any animal. And so they decide, here I go. I'm going to do this. I'm going to connect. I'm going to follow every single thing that Danielle is saying to a T. I'm going to take 9 million notes and here I go. And so what happens is they end up, when you're attached, you're hanging on to the energy like this, and I got to make it happen. I got to make it happen. I got to make it happen. And you're actually closing the window through which the intuitive information can come through. When you're not attached and you're curious and you're having fun, it's all good. The information can come through because it can come through however it's going to come through. If I am trying too hard, I'm looking for specific outcome. I'm looking for specific information to come through in a specific way. And that's going to make it so that the animal I'm connecting with only has like one route to get me this information. And I might not even notice it because that animal might take a little zigzag as it's getting that information to me because I'm so attached. So attachment is a really, it's one that gets in the way of pretty much everybody I work with until they realize how much more fun it is when, even though we're dealing with deceased animals, to just like let it go.
Let it go, hold it playfully, it sounds like too.
Yes, which is a thing when I'm teaching, even though I'm teaching about pet loss, right? People who are experiencing pet loss, who are focusing on animals that have crossed over, it's still, because I know how animals feel about the other side, because I've experienced this so much, I'm not in a place of sadness or heaviness. It's the lightness that allows us to do this, so that whenever I'm teaching about this, it is actually more light than heavy.
Great. Well, I think this has been awesome in terms of the context already, but now we could go into a practice where people really start to open some of this capacity in themselves. So why don't you
Okay.
go ahead and, orient us and then lead that.
All right. So for the practice, when I told my story, I talked about how I was so sensitive and I thought I was so different and I didn't really fit in. And what I didn't know at that time was I wasn't the only one who was sensitive. I just couldn't cover up to myself that I was sensitive. And my sensitivity was actually intuition. And what I've learned over the years is that everybody actually has this intuition. Everybody has it inside them. They have the ability to connect with animals in this way. And what else I have found is that I actually haven't met anybody who isn't in some way connecting with animals. They probably don't realize it. Most people think they're very smart. They know their animal very well. And that's how they're able to figure things out. But what I want to share today is how intuitive you already are, the ways that you're already connecting with your animal intuitively. So I'm going to share that. And then the second part that we're going to do is no, I'm not going to say the second part yet. We're just going to, we're going to do a little quiz so that, you can start to discover for yourself how intuitive you are. So this quiz, Stephen, is 15 questions, and you're going to give yourself a score. Okay, so if your answer is never, it's 0 points. If you're unsure, it's 1. If it happens sometimes, it's 2, and often it's 3. So 0 is never, 3 is often. And then we're going to have to do math at the end so that you're going to have to add up your points. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. The first question: have you ever been doing something totally ordinary, like folding laundry or driving, and suddenly felt like your past pet was there with you somehow? So never 0, rarely 1, sometimes 2, often definitely 3. Number 2, do you ever talk to your pet in spirit out loud or in your mind and think they might be listening? 0, never, 1, rarely, 2, sometimes, 3, often. 3, have you ever had a random good memory of your past pet pop into your head at a time when you weren't thinking about them? So never is 0, often is 3. 4, have you ever noticed a smell or sound that made you pause and think, is that my pet? 0, never, definitely 3. 5, has something that belonged to your pet ever turned up somewhere unexpected and you don't know how? 0, never, often 3. 6, has a new animal ever come into your life and something about them keeps making you think about your past pet? 7, have you ever had something go surprisingly right and a quiet little voice in the back of your mind says, your past pet may have helped this happen? Next, 8, has a word or phrase ever popped into your head out of nowhere and you felt like it might have come from your pet? 9, have you ever changed your mind about something because of a gut feeling and then couldn't stop thinking about your past pet? 10, have you ever had a sudden flash of insight and instantly thought of your past pet? 11, have you ever been thinking of your past pet and felt a spontaneous emotional wave like love or peace or calm overtake you? 12, have you ever noticed a synchronicity that felt so perfect and then immediately missed your past pet? 13, have you ever thought you saw your past pet run by out of the corner of your eye? 14, have you ever woken up feeling like you were just with your past pet, even though they've been gone for a while? And last, have you ever randomly heard your past pet's name in unrelated conversations, media, from strangers over a period of a couple days? Okay, so now you need to do the math, and then I'll give you your score.
I did mine. I'm good.
You did it. Okay. So are you going to tell me your score first, or am I going to give the answers first?
Give the ranges first. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 0 to 14 points. You've had subtle moments that you probably dismissed, but they were likely the very first signs of real connection and that your intuition exists. 15 through 29 points. You've had some real meaningful moments with your past pet. And although they might feel random, they're definitely happening. And then 30 to 45 points. You've been having clear, repeated moments of connection with your pet and spirit, maybe even enough to start depending on those moments.
I'm only at a 6. I'm sort of on the low end of the spectrum here.
You are. The low end of the spectrum is still, you've had some moments and you're dismissing them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's what happens with a lot of people. They're having these moments. They're like, I don't know. No.
Yeah. Well, I think I hadn't really thought about it as a possibility that much. So it's sort of interesting just to open that door. We haven't had, I was thinking of mainly of our cat Foxy, who we had for 14 years, and she's been gone for a while, but we don't have another pet. We have a hamster, but so right now be more Foxy. And so it hadn't really sort of occurred to me to stay in contact with her after her passing, really.
And these are more not even about purposely staying in contact. What happens is our animals on the other side they're feeding us.
Yeah.
They're like dropping these little moments. They're helping us. They're guiding us. They're even protecting us. But we have to have our brain open enough to be like, hey, why am I thinking of my past pet in this moment? And a lot of people dismiss it immediately. And so that's when you end up in that, 0 to 6, because you're not yet realizing it means something when they show up in that way, when the thought pops into your head, when you can't stop thinking about them, or when you hear their name. That's funny that you made me give the points first. So I want to ask you, Stephen, how do you feel about that idea of that you that it's there. Who'd you say, Frankie?
Foxy, Foxy.
Foxy. That Foxy's dropping these little moments that you may never have even considered to be intuitive before.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. She was an amazing cat. She was definitely a temple cat and very refined and loving and had a beautiful relationship. So it feels nice to just kind of welcome the idea that she's still present.
And now that you know that that's how they do it, it may open it up even more for
Hmm.
you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so we've established this idea that there's intuition already going on. And one of the things that I think people miss is they think that they know their pets really well. So they think that all the thoughts that they're having or the ideas that they're having or the spontaneous moments where their pet shows up in their head, that these are just memories. And there's a difference between a memory and when you're actually with the pet. So what I want to do now is run you through an exercise that's going to help you, because it's really important. One of the biggest questions I get is, how do I know if it's me thinking versus it's actually me connecting to the animal's actually here, etc. So what I want to do now is run you through an exercise that can help you start realizing the difference between thinking and having a memory or an experience and actually having the animal there, connecting with you, showing up around you. So this is the what's up experiment. So the reason I called it the what's up experiment is because we're just going to have fun, right? We're not trying too hard. We're in a place of curiosity that is light. You can't get it wrong. It's all about your experience. And what you experience is the beginning of starting to detect and work with your innate intuition. So we're going to do this now. Are you ready, Stephen?
Ready.
Okay. So the purpose of this is to start learning how to differentiate between thinking and intuition. So I'm going to have you close your eyes. Just take a few breaths to calm yourself. And you're going to go back to the one you said just passed. You're going to go back to, and I want you to pick out a specific animal that has passed. We're not going to do this with all animals at once. We're doing this with a specific animal that has passed. And I want you to just think about a past cool memory you had with them. Like a normal everyday memory, nothing special, nothing, it's not like you need to start crying right now or anything. Just think of a cool time you had with your pet that's passed. And just remember that memory. And as you're remembering that memory, I want you, with your eyes closed, to notice how your body feels while you're remembering that memory. Notice how your shoulders feel. Notice how the air around you, what's the air around you like? Is it stuffy? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it energized? Notice how your tummy feels. The area behind your eyes feels. Just really take note of what is this experience of remembering this memory with your past pet. And then when you feel ready, you're just going to write that down. And it's important to write it down only because you're probably going to forget in a moment. So you did, how are your emotions? How does it feel in your body? What is the air around you like? Another one you could do is, how are your thoughts moving as you're having these memories about your past pet, as you're re-experiencing this past memory about your pet? Okay, we don't have to spend a ton of time talking. Now, shake it off. Let go of that memory. Now we're going to go into invitation mode with your past pet. So same past pet. Close your eyes. Take a few breaths. Get yourself nice and calm. Now, we're not doing anything based on memory. In your head, you're going to call on your past pet. And you can literally, you don't have to say anything fancy. So if I was calling on my past pet, I would say, hello, past pet's name. I would love for you to be with me right now. Thank you. I want you to say I'd love. I want you to invite them. I also want you to use the words right now. And then you're just going to use your imagination to let them show up, because you're inviting them and you're going to let them show up for you. Maybe you'll see, maybe you'll feel, maybe you'll hear. It doesn't even matter. Just using your imagination that you called on them, you invited them, and they're showing up here with you now. Now, we're going to do the same thing. So I want you to notice, what does it feel like in your body now that you've invited your past pet to be with you? What do your emotions feel like? How do your shoulders feel? How are your thoughts moving in your body, in your head? What is the air like around you? How does it feel at your feet? Just really take note of whatever is going on, knowing that you've just invited your past pet to be with you and they have shown up for you. I also want you to notice, what expression do you have on your face? There's no right, there's no wrong. I just want you to take a moment now to write that down. Just a quick few words, nothing much. And then once you've written that down, thank your pet for showing up. Thank your pet for being here. And imagine they're disconnecting from you for the moment, right? They're going back in spirit. It's really important that you do that part. And I know a lot of people don't want to do that part. And then when you feel ready, you can stop writing and open your eyes. Okay, Stephen, my tester. So, what was the difference, if any, between remembering and inviting? How did your body, what happened in your body?
Yeah, I think it kind of elicits a body memory of just how when I find that I kind of blend energies with other beings, and so there's just that luxurious, like purring in the sun, just kind of like just enjoyment of embodiment, and this is very pure and instinctual that I really used to love bonding in that space with Foxy. And so it feels like it kind of evoked that. And it made me feel like maybe we need to get a cat again because I feel like that is a little bit missing right now, you know?
It's very cool. And that was different from the memory in your
Yeah,
body?
it feels like it kind of feels like I can feel the energetics a little versus the information, if you will.
Yeah, a lot of people will have the memory up here and maybe a little like, oh, I miss you kind of thing. And then when you invite, they feel just what you're saying. It's more of like a enveloping overall body thing. What about the air around you? Did the air around you change? For a lot of people, the air changes.
Yeah, it wasn't as clear like what that would feel or look like. So I was like, what is that?
And you
But
may not be an air feeler.
an air feeler. It's a new category of people. I'm an air feeler.
Right. That's the technical term, the air feeler.
Uh-huh.
And how about the way your thoughts were in your head with the memory versus the way the thoughts were in your head with the invitation?
I mean, I think part of the what happens is, or what happened with Foxy is that she really invited a non-thinking way of being, just to sort of just be luxurious and enjoyment of the moment. And so it's just kind of more of like feeling that rather than having a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. And when you're doing the memory, you're having the thoughts. You're remembering the memory. You're thinking about the how this went, how that went, da da da. But then when you invite them in, it's very different in that you almost end up being present in the moment, and my voice can be annoying. Right? Because it's like, you're here. This feels good. I like this. And you don't want Danielle here saying, well, how does that feel? And what are the thoughts happening and all of this? They're very different when you understand the differences. So if there are people who are, air feelers, usually what happens is, if you're an air feeler, the air feels kind of normal when you're doing the memory, but then when you're doing the invitation, it's almost like it becomes charged, or like a more exciting air, but not an over the top, but it's more like, oh, this air makes me feel passionate kind of thing. I know. It's a little weird. Now are you making faces? Is that because you turn out to be an air feeler?
And I'm just no, I'm just thinking that air feeler conversation is very interesting. Not one that I've really thought a lot about, but air feeling.
Welcome to my world of making up
Well, it's an
phrases to
interesting
fit.
portal into sort of the energetics too, that it sort of translates into an air
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah. So there is a difference between a memory or a thinking and an actual, the animal's here, the animal's
Mhm.
visiting, the animal is connecting in. And without any training, you actually were able to feel that difference, to experience that difference. You were very drawn to the invitation and
Mhm.
really didn't, the memory, you've done the memory, you've been doing that one. So it's already in you how to experience the beginning of how to experience an animal that's crossed over. And that's really what I build on, is this stuff that's already in us that we don't even realize is
Mhm.
intuitive. We just think it's our experience, but so much of it is actually, the animal is here, the animal is visiting, the animal is trying to connect and give you a sign and a message.
Mm. So the process of making an overt invitation and then also kind of invoking the space, that's actually what creates a foundation for the deeper communication, it sounds like.
That's what puts you in a great space to be able to receive the information that is already coming through.
Mm.
Like I think you said Foxy. Foxy's already give Foxy, was it Foxy?
Foxy, yeah.
Okay. Um, Foxy's already giving you signs and trying to connect with you and talk with you and like guide you. But if you don't know what to look like or how to put yourself in a space to be able to receive that information really well, all that stuff just like flies by. We miss it, or we catch something we think coincidence, or we don't realize it's intuitive. We think we're just smart. I don't think we're as smart as I think we are.
Maybe. So great. Well, what are some of the other dimensions of this process of building a repeatable, trustable pipeline of communication that you want people to know up front?
I want people to know that whatever experience their animal had crossing over, it doesn't affect their desire to reconnect back with us from the other side. I think a lot of people get hung up on, it didn't happen the way I wanted, or I wish it had been different, or I think my pet on the other side is mad at me, and it doesn't work that way. So they're the only barriers we have to reconnecting with our animals on the other side are coming from inside us, because the animals on the other side are just like all love, all light, all like, hey, I've got stuff to share with you. I'm here, and I really want to connect with you if you will open to me.
Well, I think you're really fascinating. A lot of the insights you've shared today and the potential. Do you want to share any stories of what is possible when people start to build this bridge of communication and they have like, an ongoing relationship that really nourishes them in a beautiful way?
Yeah, I've had people who have involved their animals in their lives, and their animals can actually be like, hey, you're making that mistake again. Hey, watch out, you're making that mistake again. And having the ability to have this little like spirit be with you, helping guide, is a really, really big deal. I think one of the things that animals on the other side want to do is to help us be the best version of ourselves that we can. And we so often get lost in like human gunk, like all these human emotions that animals don't have. And what I mean by that is not that animals don't have emotions, but that animals on the other side, they don't get caught up in all the negativity that we get caught up, all the worry, all the feeling not good enough, all of that stuff. They don't get caught up in feeling that they're not deserving of our love. You know, we get caught up in that stuff. So to have the ability to have this being be in your life whom you can connect with, ask questions of, feel support from, who gives you this unconditional love at any moment is something that we don't often get to experience with other humans. So I feel like the animals want us to open to them because they see us needing some help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
And
interesting. And hearing you, it's sort of like we have all these other guides and ancestors that we can work with on the other side, but there's some certain qualities of being that might be different or complementarity that animals can bring that we can't get from other guides.
yeah, I work with my guides all the time, and I love working with my guides. And yet, working with animals who have been in, who know me so well and have been like in my life and who are here understanding this is what you need, Danielle. This is, I saw you do this, and now we can help you here. It's, I don't know. It makes me like animals a little bit more than people a lot of the time.
I've heard a few people say things similar, particularly in the era we're in right now. They're like, I think I'm just going to hang out with the animals.
Right. Because they love us unconditionally, but also they know everything about us and they still love us unconditionally. Very different. And they've been in the physical world with us. So that's an incredible thing that we don't really get that much opportunity to experience in our lives.
Mm. Makes a lot of sense. Well, you're a delight, and let's talk a little bit about how people can learn more from you and really develop these capacities, and so it becomes an enduring part of their lives. So Danielle has agreed to teach a brand new course, as we mentioned earlier, for Shift. It's called Pet Mediumship. Learn to listen, heal, and transform through soul-level communication with your beloved companion spirit. You can find it at the URL petmediumship.com. It's a 7-week program. There are no prerequisites for this, and you'll just have an opportunity to really dive into these practices and open up new skills and build bridges of communication with Danielle's guidance. So Danielle, you want to share a little bit about your intentions for the program, and then we'll go through the modules and give a preview of what you're going to be teaching.
Yeah. My intentions for the program are, I think that there are a lot of people who feel super lost after losing a pet because other humans don't get it. Other humans don't understand the connection that they had. And so I encounter a lot of people who they want that connection back. And you can never have that connection back the same way, but you can have that connection in a new way. And so my intention is to empower people to be able to connect with their past pets, to connect with any past animal, and receive, yes, the kind of 3D world guidance, what that animal has to say about what is happening in their life, etc., but also be able to receive bigger deal guidance like, here's what you're working on in your life. Here's the lesson you came to learn, and here's how I can help you. So I feel like when people believe that they can do this, they use it. So my goal is to really empower people to believe they can do it and then actually do it.
Great. So module 1 is called Get Out of the Way so the animals can get through to you.
So that module, I feel like it's like the secret power pill to everything I do, because I don't think that most people understand the importance of making this physical energetic structure, this emotional structure as well, lining everything up in such a way as to be receptive. And by that, like how, you've obviously been doing this for a bit, Stephen. Haven't you ever tried to do something and then in your head been like, I don't know about that. I don't think I can do that. Like you start kind of self-talking or something's distracting you. Like, have you ever experienced that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what we do is we actually work on helping you be in a place where that stuff isn't an impediment anymore, where you can manage that stuff, not where it's all gone, but where that self-talk and that concern or the distraction or all of that emotional stuff that can get in the way, it recedes. And when it recedes, it opens up the space so that you can really be receptive. But this is not what we're taught to do in our normal everyday lives. We're taught it doesn't matter that you're distracted right now. It doesn't matter that you don't feel like you can do this or you feel like you're in over your head. You're just supposed to keep going. So part of this is about learning to recognize those things, identify them, work with them so that then you're opening up the space to actually be able to receive information from the animals.
Module 2, meet your mystery guide on the other side for your first soul level connection.
I want for people first to understand what animals have told me about the other side and how they view passing and death and how they view their work with us from the other side and all of that. Because if you don't understand how the animals are sharing that, first of all, you'll think I'm a jerk because I'm not in this like stoic place about this stuff. I'm actually super excited because I understand the purpose of why animals are crossing over and what they're wanting us to do with it. And then we're actually going to meet an animal that has crossed over in that module so that you can experience what it is really like for them.
Module 3, enter a liminal space between our world and the animals, your gateway to the other side.
This is the module where we're going to learn my proprietary. I have never taught this process outside my school. But like people have tried to get me to teach it outside, and I've always said no, 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 no. And then you guys showed up, and I was like, okay, this feels right. This feels right. So this is my process for actually meeting up with the animal that's on the other side. And it's done in a way that creates safety and security for both the animal and for the person. And I'm still kind of surprised I'm going to share it, but I am.
Well, thank you for trusting us. Module 4, managing your biggest obstacle, being a living human.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because one of the biggest challenges that I find people have is all of their stuff that comes up around doing this. So here you've done the first 3 modules, you're starting to have these connections, it's working, and then the brain kicks in, and then the beliefs kick in, and then all the stuff kicks in, the grief, the guilt, all the stuff that you as a human have mixed in there. So in this module, I am helping you understand what's really going on, how it's affecting you, and then also what to do about it so that being deeply in your grieving process or being, a normal human who maybe is a people pleaser doesn't have to end up getting in the way of the connection. And this is really important to being able to hold the space so that you can go into these deeper soul level connections.
Module 5, time travel with animals who've passed to receive insights, healing, and validation.
Doesn't this one sound cool?
Sounds very cool.
So this one is about understanding how the animals work with time, which is different, how the animals on the other side work with time, how they understand it, and what they can do with it in the connections. And then once we understand that and I show how to work with it, we're going to play and let the animals bring us to the places they want to bring us so that we can really understand things differently. And I feel like what people will end up getting out of this is they'll start to look at their own day-to-day experience differently once they've had the experience of how the animal is going through time.
Module 6, the real reason past pets choose us. Learn the soul lesson your animal wants to offer you.
This module is about working specifically with your own past pet, and you're going to learn exactly what lesson they're helping you learn. It's the soul level lesson. It's usually carried on from when they were alive and they're taking it into their past, into their to the other side. They're still working with it. So I'm going to take everybody through the exact process to determine that for themselves. And the cool thing is when you know what your past pet is helping you learn at the soul level, like what is this soul lesson, it actually makes it a lot easier to connect with them, to receive intuitive data from them, and to learn the thing they're helping you learn because now you're all on the same page.
And finally, Module 7, Beyond Your Own Pets, Connecting with Universal Animal Guidance for Personalized Support and Insights.
And this one is about taking what we've been learning and applying it to all past animals and receiving information from them. It's a very, I would say, we get so hung up on, I want to connect with Foxy, or I want to connect with Bella, or, and we kind of get this tunnel vision. But animals have, they're all offering information that's valuable to us and valuable to our soul's growth and to us becoming conscious. So this is really exploring that in a way that allows you to, after the course ends, be like, all right, now I can connect with my animal and all the other animals out there and receive this bigger, deeper level of guidance, more so than, hey, what was your life like when you were alive?
There's so many more dimensions of this program than I was anticipating. It really is quite a journey into the frontiers of our own consciousness and our own healing with the universe to open this portal to pet mediumship. So very cool work here, Danielle. I'll share a few other things about the program, which again is laid out in detail at petmediumship.com. As we said, it's 7 modules that you just heard about. You're going to have time to ask Danielle your questions live and also engage in practices live, which is very powerful. And you're also going to have a chance to have the recordings, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts, which you can refer back to at any time. There's weekly exercises for home. There's a community group to support you and deepen your experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And on the page, we've got some extra bonuses that Danielle's been very gracious in offering. There is a Intuition Amplifier Toolkit. This is an audio meditation PDF tracker and mini video. Danielle, you want to share more about that?
Yeah, I think that what happens is when people get excited about connecting with animals, they want to literally speed that up. So this is kind of like a little the Pac-Man power pill booster to speed that up, help you open even faster, and it gives also tips and tracking as well. Because so often we get into, hey, I want to open, I want to sign, I want this, and something happens, we don't write it down and we forget. So this is kind of like, here's what to look out for. Here's tips from me in a little video. And then here's how you can track it. Because when it's all in one place, when it's all written out in one place, it's less easy to overlook. It's in your face.
That's just one bonus. The second bonus is a message from the other side that might sound just like your pet. This is a PDF letter and read aloud audio from Danielle. You want to share more about that bonus?
Yeah, this one is these are the messages that animals on the other side have told me again and again that they want their humans to know. And so this felt like I could take all of those messages and put them into a little letter so that when you're missing your pet on the other side, you can just listen or read the letter from your pet.
Very cool. And then there's one extra bonus, a special bonus you get if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. This is a guided audio journey and PDF guide from Danielle called Design Your Sacred Meeting Space. So you want to share more about that special bonus folks get today?
Yeah, I like this one so much. So many people want to connect with their pet on the other side. They want to be able to do this before they go to bed or when they're driving. And so this is actually leads you through how to create the space that works best for you personally and this animal to be able to connect with them. So it walks you through what to do, how to create this, and then you are able to come back to this place again and again for this particular animal.
Very cool extra bonus there. So that's the bonus you get when you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. So it's going to be a really cool program with a lot of interesting skills you develop, as well as deep healings that you can catalyze. And so we've kept the investment very accessible for this. It's just 3 payments of $128. So you can save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to begin August 21st and run Thursdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts in the community as well. There's some great extra testimonials on the page about Danielle and the power of her teachings and her support, and really the impact of being able to communicate with pets on the other side. So again, it's all at petmediumship.com, and you'll get that special bonus when you sign up by midnight tonight called Design Your Sacred Meeting Space. So Danielle, you've been a delight and really opening some new paradigms of the possible here today. So anything that you still have on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing your course with you?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people for a course like this would expect it to be heavy. And it's not heavy. When you learn how the animals really feel about the other side, when you learn how they're still helping us from the other side, it becomes enjoyable. It becomes really fun and enlightening and opening. And I've seen a lot of people, it changes their perspective to be able to connect with animals on the other side. It changes how they place themselves in the world. It changes how they think about their life because they realize this afterlife thing is real. They've connected with the animals that are there. They know there's something going on. And I don't know, I found that I've received a lot of comments from people that being able to connect with pets on the other side has literally altered their state of being. And so that's what I want to do. I want people to realize there's more and just take that all in and live that way.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Danielle, for illuminating our, and thank you all for joining. It's been really quite a joy to explore this terrain, and look forward to seeing many of you in Danielle's upcoming course. And again, the URL for that is petmediumship.com, and you'll get that special bonus if you sign up by midnight. So thank you so much. Many blessings.
Thank you.